In the annals of history, very few individuals hold a place as prominent and revered as Alexander the Great. Born in the summer of 356 BC, in the ancient city of Pella, Macedonia, Alexander III, commonly known as Alexander the Great, was destined for greatness from his very birth. His father, Philip II, was a king renowned for his military might and political acumen, qualities that Alexander would inherit and magnify manifoldly. Even before Alexander's birth, his destiny was foreshadowed. Legend tells us that Philip II had a prophetic dream in which his wife, Olympias, was pregnant with a lion. This symbol of power and royalty hinted at the exceptional future that lay ahead for their son. Childhood for Alexander was not the usual playground of frivolities. He was a royal prince, and he was to be groomed as a warrior and a king. His mother, Queen Olympias, filled his young mind with grandiose tales of their ancestor, the legendary hero Achilles. Inspired by such stories, the seeds of ambition and heroism were planted deep within the young prince's heart. At the age of 13, a man who was a paragon of wisdom and knowledge, Aristotle, became his tutor. Alexander's education was not limited to warfare and leadership. Aristotle instilled in him a deep love for philosophy, arts, and sciences. The influence of Aristotle's teaching was profound, fostering an appreciation for knowledge that would persist throughout Alexander's life. This holistic education, encompassing warfare, leadership, and intellectual pursuit, primed Alexander to surpass his father's glory and carve out an empire unparalleled in history. A telling example of Alexander's character from his early years was his interaction with a horse named Bucephalus, owned by a Thessalian named Philonicus. This horse was deemed wild and unmanageable by many, but Alexander, captivated by the majestic creature, wagered that he could tame it. He astutely recognized the horse was merely frightened by its own shadow, a detail missed by others. Alexander turned the horse towards the sun, gradually calming it, and eventually mounting it, thus winning the wager. Overwhelmed with pride and astonishment, his father, Philip II, remarked, "O my son, look thee out a kingdom equal to and worthy of thyself, for Macedonia is too little for thee." Bucephalus would become his most trusted steed, a symbol of his insightful nature, his courage, and his extraordinary ability to connect with others, be they human or beast. This incident underscored the exceptional qualities that would later make Alexander the Great, the legendary leader we know today. His early adulthood was marked by notable achievements. By the time Alexander reached 16, his father felt confident enough to leave him in charge of Macedonia while he himself left for a military campaign. Alexander, even in his youth, showed immense promise as a leader. His administrative capabilities shone brightly as he successfully managed the kingdom in his father's absence, quelled a Thracian rebellion, and even founded a city, Alexandropolis. This city holds a unique place in history as it continues to exist today in Greece. Little did the world know, the era of Alexander the Great was about to begin. With an unquenchable thirst for power and an insatiable curiosity for the unknown, Alexander was set to transform the course of history forever. Philip's assassination in 336 BC elevated Alexander to the throne. Now King Alexander III of Macedon, he inherited a well-trained army and an ambition to conquer the world. He had dreams that stretched beyond the borders of Macedonia, dreams that would transform him into a legend. From the beginning of his reign, Alexander showed his inclination towards conciliation. He was known to be generous towards those who surrendered and ruthlessly unforgiving to those who defied him. This blend of clemency and severity became a hallmark of his rule, earning him both the fear and respect of his subjects and enemies alike. Alexander's first objective was to unite the Greek city-states, which had been under Macedonian control since the reign of Philip. It's essential to underline that Macedonia was, and is, a fundamental part of Greece, sharing the same Hellenic culture, language, and heritage. The kings, including Philip II and Alexander, were of Greek lineage. However, his ascension to the throne had incited rebellions among some states. With a strategic combination of diplomacy, subterfuge, and outright military action, Alexander crushed these rebellions, solidifying his rule over Greece. One of the first major campaigns under his command was against the Persian Empire, a long-standing enemy of Greece. This was not simply a quest for expansion, but a burning desire for retribution for the atrocities the Persians had inflicted upon the Greeks during the Greco-Persian Wars. The pillaging of Athens, the burning of sacred temples, and the subjugation of Greek cities had left deep scars. The Greeks longed for justice, and Alexander sought to deliver it. With this fiery resolve, Alexander embarked on this monumental undertaking. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander's tactical genius led his army to victory in the Battle of Granicus, marking the beginning of his successful campaign against the Persians and his journey toward avenging his homeland's past humiliations. Following his initial victories over the Persian Empire, Alexander continued to demonstrate his military prowess, winning crucial battles and strategically capturing key locations. His victories at Issus and Gaugamela established his supremacy over the Persian king Darius III, marking a turning point in his campaign. Alexander was also a man of compassion and had a profound understanding of human emotions. This trait is best reflected in his treatment of the family of Darius III. Upon capturing them, he treated them with utmost respect and dignity, ensuring their safety and comfort. This act of benevolence towards his enemies was rare for a conqueror and exemplified his high moral character. In Egypt, Alexander founded the city of Alexandria and was crowned pharaoh, embracing the role with all its traditional rites and customs. Here, he set up a significant cultural, intellectual, and commercial hub, which housed the legendary Library of Alexandria, demonstrating his commitment to knowledge and learning. Alexander valued knowledge and intellectual pursuit as much as his military victories. Accompanying him on his campaigns were historians, scientists, and philosophers tasked with the exploration and documentation of the vast lands he conquered. In his pursuit of conquering the known world, Alexander led his troops into the heartland of Asia, to the Indian subcontinent. His expedition into India was among his most challenging campaigns. The Battle of Hydaspes against King Porus was a testament to Alexander's unwavering spirit and determination. Despite facing significant difficulties, including unfamiliar war tactics and challenging terrain, Alexander's innovative strategies led him to victory. The battle also highlighted another facet of Alexander's character, his respect for a worthy adversary. Impressed by Porus's bravery and resilience, Alexander reinstated him as a regional governor under his rule, an action that speaks volumes about his regard for valor. Alexander's ambitions, however, were not mirrored by his men, and they yearned for a return to their homeland. Sensing their fatigue and longing, Alexander, displaying his empathy and understanding as a leader, decided to turn back. His efforts left a lasting Greek influence across the territories he conquered, marking the beginning of the Hellenistic period. Despite his incredible conquests and his near-divine persona, Alexander the Great was, after all, a mortal man. In June 323 BC, while in Babylon, Alexander fell seriously ill. His condition rapidly deteriorated, and on June 10th or 13th, Alexander breathed his last. He was just 32. His sudden and untimely death has been a subject of intrigue and speculation among historians. While the exact cause of his demise remains a mystery, there are theories suggesting that his death may not have been due to natural causes. Some historians propose that he may have been poisoned, potentially a victim of political intrigue, adding yet another layer of mystery and intrigue to the life of this extraordinary leader. The news of his death sent shockwaves throughout his vast empire. A sense of disbelief and uncertainty engulfed his subjects and soldiers alike. The man they saw as invincible, almost a divine entity, had succumbed to mortality. His untimely demise left his empire without a clear successor, which eventually led to the fragmentation of his vast dominions into separate kingdoms. Alexander the Great embarked on an expedition across Asia that was as much a military conquest as a cultural journey. His influence stretched from the Mediterranean to the Indus, leaving a lasting Hellenistic imprint. The birth of Greco-Buddhism, an amalgamation of Hellenistic and Buddhist culture, was a major outcome, influencing Central and South Asia. Immortalizing his victories, Alexander named cities after himself, most famously Alexandria in Egypt. His leadership style was a nuanced combination of military prowess and diplomatic acumen. Instead of forcing Greek customs on the conquered, he recognized the differences among the various peoples he encountered, often adopting local traditions to win the allegiance of his subjects. His rule in Egypt, where he embraced the role of pharaoh with its local rights, exemplifies his respect for cultural diversity. Alexander's conquests were more than territorial, they were intellectual. Through the spread of Greek ideas, he ushered in the Hellenistic period, marked by advancements in the arts, philosophy, and sciences. More than a king, he was a philosopher-warrior, exploring the unknown and transforming the world. Alexander's multifaceted personality transcended his military achievements. Mentored by Aristotle, he developed a profound appreciation for knowledge, arts, and an understanding of human psychology. Known for his moral fortitude, he treated conquered kings with respect, often reinstating them as governors, demonstrating his fairness and respect for valor. His leadership philosophy resonates in his words. "I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion," emphasizing the importance of strong leadership. He was a patron of knowledge, deeply influenced by Aristotle's teachings. This is evident in his consultation of oracles and interpretation of dreams, which led him to perceive himself as a divine entity, a son of Zeus, as suggested by the oracle of Ammon. His perceived divine status influenced his rule, leading him to adopt Persian customs like proskynesis, a prostration ritual. Although his Greek soldiers viewed it as servitude, it was an honor in Persian culture. Alexander was a frontline leader, sharing his soldiers' risks. During the siege of Mali, he was the first to leap over the city walls, demonstrating his commitment to share their perils. His courage inspired his men, earning their respect and loyalty. His motto, "I would rather live a short life of glory than a long one of obscurity," encapsulates his fearless pursuit of glory. Alexander the Great was a man of contrasts. A valiant warrior and a keen scholar, a ruthless conqueror, and a compassionate leader, a demigod in his perception, and yet painfully human. He dreamt like a man but achieved like a god. His vision extended beyond the physical realms of lands and treasures. It ventured into the intellectual realms of knowledge, culture, and philosophy, blending the East and West in a symphony of cultural exchange and growth. He lived not just to conquer but to enlighten, not just to rule but to inspire, not just to create an empire but to shape the world. Alexander the Great was not just a king or a military strategist. He was a visionary, shaping the world as he saw fit. Even after his death, his influence continues to be felt in the cultures, politics, and societies of the regions he once traversed. He remains an enduring symbol of greatness, a beacon of human potential, and an embodiment of the timeless quest for glory.